Welcome to Garrett Nelson in 6 plays. If you're not familiar with what I do in this series, I like to take a look at an NFL draft prospect, in this case, Nebraska pass rusher, edge defender, Garrett Nelson, in a limited amount of plays to kind of showcase and highlight the type of player he is. So if your team ends up selecting him or picking him up, you will kind of have an understanding of who Garrett Nelson is as an NFL draft prospect and how he might fit into the NFL. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tape. So the first thing that stands out about Garrett Nelson is he plays with a relentless motor. Here he is lined up at the bottom of the screen. Looks like, the 7 technique. And Wisconsin's going to run away from him. They're going to pull their left guard and their right guard and right tackle down the line. And Garrett Nelson's not the fastest pass rusher. He's not a speed guy, but he just gives it everything he has down that line, and he's able to chase down this running back. And it's just plays like this where Garrett Nelson is at his best. It's just that ability to will himself, and I know he's not having to go through and beat a lot of guys, but it's just hustle plays like this that he made throughout his college career, game in and game out, just giving it his all and making plays that maybe some guys would just say, oh, he's running away from me, I'm going to take a couple steps. Nope, he's not cutting back, and then just give up. Not Garrett Nelson. Now, Garrett Nelson isn't an elite athlete, and he doesn't have elite traits either, but he does have enough little burst off the line that can help him generate some power. So he's lined up here at the top of the screen, once again lined up against, this time, the left tackle, and he's at the snap going to burst off. And what he's able to do he's able to play with good leverage. And so with that burst, with the ability to get leverage, he's able to get underneath this left tackle and push him back enough that he's able to come free and get the sack here. And it's just that combination of burst, leverage, and power. He's got in a position to have good leverage. He's using that burst to generate that power, and he's able to catch that offensive tackle off balance a little bit, get him, knocking him up a little bit, and just powers his way through to get that sack. And it's just plays like this that he's able to tie those things together to be able to produce, and 2nd and 10, as we see here, finish with that sack. We see another example of that ability to create some power here against Wisconsin. Left-hand side lined up against this the right tackle over here. And at the snap, the ball's going to go away, but Nelson once again is able to get underneath this right tackle, and he's able to use that power to knock him down and then come and make that play. And he didn't stop him for a tackle for loss, but he's able to get up underneath the right tackle enough, get him off balance, and just finish him off to make this play. And it's another play that, was a couple gaps away. So once again, we see that hustle, that relentlessness. Relentless is the word I like to use with him. He just doesn't give up. He's relentless in his pursuit. And here, he was able to just get his guy, knock him to the ground, and go get the ball. Now, Garrett Nelson's not someone that's going to be taking on and holding blocks, playing 2 gaps. He's a guy that has to be moving. He lacks those long arms, lacks the strength at the point of attack, that he's not going to be able to hold it and shed. So what he needs to do is like what we saw against Oklahoma. Here he is lined up against Anton Harrison, a guy that could go in the first round of the NFL draft. And this is where Garrett Nelson can have his success. We saw the last play, used his leverage, got the guy off balance, knocked him down, and then shed inside. Here he engages, but knows that, hey, I can't sit here. So he kind of almost pushes him off and is able to then use his lateral agility to shoot in. He's not an elite athlete, but he's got enough burst, he's got enough lateral agility and got enough strength that he can do things like this to keep himself free and be able to make those moves inside or outside to be able to go in and get a tackle. And here he was doing that against Oklahoma, going against a guy who is considered one of the better offensive tackles in this class. So as I said, there's lots of little things that he does decent enough that it allows him to have success. One of those, once again, is that burst off the line. So here he is against Northwestern, lined up against the right tackle, and he's able to just burst and slant. He was able to use that quick move to the inside off the line to get to an advantage. This right tackle was looking to potentially maybe kind of hook him and seal him off with the play going this way. And him slanting hard inside, once again with that relentlessness, made it tough for this right tackle to cut him off. And he's able to power through and get into the backfield. Now he misses the tackle there. He didn't miss many tackles throughout the season. You know, this was a rarity, but he was able to use that burst, use this power to go through that block, and get into the backfield for what should have been a tackle for loss. All right, another way that Garrett Nelson was used and could continue to be used that way was that lateral agility. So here he is against Oklahoma. They're going to run a little game where he loops inside. It's 3rd and 5. They're thinking, okay, this is a pass. Let's dial up a blitz. And so Garrett Nelson lined up over that right tackle. At the snap, he's going to loop right here. And not a lot of wasted movement. He didn't have to arc out, just kind of move down that line. But it ends up being a run. And he's able to see that and able to burst forward to get that tackle. Like I said, he doesn't miss very many tackles. As we see here, he's kind of in the hole with them. Guy kind of goes, the running back looks to bounce it out. And he's able to get his hands on him and make that tackle. So he's showing that lateral agility. He's showing his recognition skills and that ability to just make a tackle. Now, if we look at Garrett Nelson as it relates to the 2023 NFL Draft, I don't think he's going to be drafted. He had a solid college career, didn't have a ton of production. He was Nebraska's led Nebraska in sacks both of his last 2 years, but that was around 5.5 sacks each of those years. So it wasn't like he was putting up double-digit sacks, but he was Nebraska's best pass rusher. The thing that just hurts him is he does a lot of things all right. You know, he's got enough burst off the line. He's got that lateral agility. He can generate a little bit of power. He's got an elite motor. But the NFL, they're going to look at it and say, you know, you're only 6'3", 249 pounds as an edge defender. We'd love for you to be 6'5", 250 pounds. He doesn't have great length. He doesn't have great burst. You know, he has a short area burst, which is decent, but it's not elite. And I think because of that, he won't be drafted. And he has his work cut out for him to make an NFL team. Could he do it? Yeah, easily. There's guys like him who have found roles in the NFL. Maybe, you know, they look at him and say, hey, maybe you're not a pass rusher, but let's try out at fullback. And they move him to fullback. Maybe he finds his role on special teams and just becomes a guy that the coaches really like and sticks to the NFL for 4 or 5 years just because he is a good special teams player. But I tend to think what's going to happen with Garrett Nelson is he's going to get a camp invite, rookie mini camp, OTAs. Maybe he's able to get to a training camp. But I think where we're going to see him playing next is probably going to be in the developmental league like the XFL, like the USFL. And he's going to have his hand there, and maybe he can showcase like, hey, I got this playing time. I can, give me another shot at the NFL. But that's kind of where I think he ends up being. All right, that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. Garrett Nelson in 5 plays. If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell to get all the notifications when new videos come out. Make sure you follow me on social media. Draft_Brian is where you can find me at all those locations. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time.